Some stories don't begin with a scream. They begin with a whisper. And this one started with a phone call that should have never happened. Because it wasn't a goodbye. It wasn't a casual check-in. It was something darker. It was a man asking for help without saying the words. For years, the world believed it understood Rob Reiner. A storyteller. A creator of worlds where problems could be solved. Where conversations led to clarity. Where endings made sense. But inside his own home, there was no script. And the only person who truly heard the truth was Tracy Reiner. That night, the phone rang late. Too late. He used to call often. Ideas, debates, reflections. His voice was always alive, full of energy. But this time, it wasn't. It sounded hollow. Like something inside him had already started to fade. He didn't talk about work. He didn't talk about the world. He talked about fear. And that changed everything. Because it wasn't fear of illness. It wasn't fear of getting older. It was fear of what was happening inside his own house. Tracy could feel it. The pauses. The weight between his words. The kind of silence that says more than anything spoken. At one point, he said something she has never been able to forget. I've spent my whole life writing happy endings for other people, but I don't know how to write one for my own son. That was the truth. This wasn't sudden. It didn't happen overnight. It had been building quietly for years. And just when it seemed like things could still hold together, they started to break. Here's where the story takes a deeper turn. Because one of the few people who noticed the cracks early was Tom Cruise. Someone known for discipline, for control, for facing problems head-on. It said he saw signs long before others did. That he tried to step in, quietly, privately. No headlines, no attention. But some things, even experience can't contain. Especially when it's family. And especially when love starts to look like tolerance. Because what was happening inside that house wasn't new. Rob's son had been struggling for a long time. Addiction, unpredictable behavior, emotional swings that came and went like storms. But the real tragedy wasn't just the struggle. It was how it was handled. Or more accurately, how it was hidden. Rob didn't see a threat. He saw his child. And that changed everything. He covered the damage. He explained away the chaos. He convinced himself things were still under control. Walls were fixed before anyone noticed. Valuable items went missing, only to be dismissed as misplaced. Tense moments never left the house. It was like he was trying to edit reality, the way you edit a film. But real life doesn't have a final cut. And chaos doesn't follow direction. During that call, Tracy realized something had shifted. Her father told her he no longer recognized his own son. That sometimes he would look into his eyes and feel like no one was there. That he was losing control. And then he said something that sent a chill through her. He had started locking his bedroom door at night. Think about that. A man with everything, success, respect, security, living in fear, inside his own home. Why didn't he ask for help? Why didn't he call someone? Because he made Tracy promise not to. He wanted to protect his son, even then. Even when everything was already on the edge. And that's the part that hurts the most. Because decisions like that come from love. But they can also destroy everything. If this story is moving you, share it with someone who might need to hear it today. Because sometimes, recognizing the signs early can change everything. The hardest truth to accept is this. This wasn't a single moment. It was a slow unraveling. For months, maybe years, the home became a place where fear and hope lived side by side. Where every morning felt like a fresh start. And every night felt like another test. His wife was there too, holding everything together as long as she could until exhaustion took over. Not physical exhaustion. Emotional. Watching someone you love fade away without knowing how to stop it. And still trying anyway. That's what makes this so difficult. Because we all want to believe love is enough. But sometimes, love needs boundaries. And sometimes that needs help. In his final months, Rob began to write things down. Not for the public. Not for legacy. For himself. He documented what was happening. The changes. The patterns. Like he needed proof that he wasn't imagining it. Like he was preparing for something he knew was coming. Those journals may hold the most honest version of this entire story. Unfiltered. Unpolished. Real. It's believed he even spoke about them with Tom Cruise. That he was encouraged to take stronger action. Set firm limits. Do something decisive. But he couldn't. He didn't want to become the villain in his son's story. He wanted to be the one who saved him. And that became his greatest conflict. Because not every battle can be won with kindness alone. And when everything finally collapsed, it was too late. Now the world is trying to make sense of it. Headlines are forming narratives. Opinions are spreading. But at the center of it all is an uncomfortable truth. This wasn't sudden. It could have been prevented. And that's what makes it so heavy. Tracy chose to speak, not for attention, not for recognition, but because she refuses to let this be reduced to a simple tragedy. She wants people to see the warning signs, to act sooner, to not stay silent. Because silence is what allowed everything to grow unchecked. Not the final moment, but all the moments before it when nothing was done. If you look back now at footage of Rob, you might notice things you didn't before. The tired eyes, the forced smiles, the quiet weight he carried. It wasn't just age. It was everything he was holding inside. And that's the part no one saw until now. This story isn't just about one family. It's a reflection, a warning. Because if something like this can happen to someone with resources, influence, and experience, it can happen anywhere. And that's the truth that's hardest to accept. The silence is broken now, and this story is only beginning to unfold. Whatever comes next may change everything. So if something in this story stayed with you, don't ignore it. Speak up, take action, ask for help. And if you want to hear more stories that matter, stories that reveal what's hidden beneath the surface, stay with us. Subscribe, share this video, and keep listening. Because some truths take time to surface. But once they do, there's no turning back.